Hello and welcome to episode 61 of the Footy with Fletch podcast. In this episode, I'm joined by Essendon AFLW player Emily Gough. Emily was selected by the Bombers with pick 20 in the 2023 AFLW draft and has played 5 AFLW games and kicked 2 goals. Hello, Emily. Thanks for joining me on the podcast today. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And I guess first thing first, what sort of sports did you play growing up?
Well, I played a bit of everything, to be honest. I was a big basketballer from when I was young. I think mum kind of brought that into the family with both my brothers. And then I did rowing when I joined senior school at Fairbank. So that was good. And then also obviously netball just through primary school. And then kind of dropped it when basketball, footy and rowing kind of got a bit more serious. So yeah.
And how did you get involved with rowing? Because it's not really a typical sport for footballers to, I guess, be involved with.
Well, I found I joined rowing late year eight. I think that's when it starts. Our junior season starts, and our I went to Fairbairn Grammar, so the school was very good at rowing, and I saw a lot of advantages that came through with my other sports like basketball and football, and got me really fit. And a lot of my friends from school did it, so it was kind of just something that I loved to do every morning with my friends, and um, I was going to drop it kind of in year nine or year 10, but I saw huge advantages out of it, and then kept it till middle of year 12. Yes, I think late year 11, I think, or maybe it's middle of year 12, yeah, something like that. But yeah, no, it was good.
And when did you sort of start to focus on basketball as well then?
So I was always a basketball, so I kind of was more competitive with my basketball when I was young. Footy was kind of just something that I loved to do, play Oz kick, and then played a bit of footy with the boys, and then grew up on that path. But also basketball was a bit more serious. Started rep when I was really, I think under 12s I started rep, and then carried that all the way through to top age under 18s. And then I think when things got a bit serious with football, I kind of had to choose, but. I loved my basketball, played for Waverley. So yeah, that was huge for my development and keeping keeping footy and sport fun. So yeah.
How hard was it to sort of make the decision between footy, rowing, and basketball?
It wasn't my favorite time. I think I kind of already made my decision about rowing. I think finishing in school and then probably not choosing to go to keep going after school. I think that was probably the easier decision between basketball and football. But basketball, I did my shoulder. Obviously, I had shoulder surgery, had to kind of choose then, which was start of my draft year. And yeah, went with basketball. Don't think mum was too impressed. Mum loved me playing basketball, but I think at the end of the day, it was good that I kept football. So yeah.
And you started playing with the Sandringham Dragons in 2022. What was the process in joining Sandringham?
Yeah, so I played for my junior club, East Melbourne Knights, and I think a couple of people get selected or tryouts and stuff like that at Sandy. I was lucky enough to be on their squad list. And then I was obviously bottom age, so I think I played a couple of games for my bottom age year, but I was really focusing on rowing that year and still kind of, I knew I was going to have to drop rowing the next year. So still keeping my options open. But yeah, that was probably a year where I did do lots of road for state for rowing. So probably my huge focus wasn't on football, but I still wanted to be there. And I knew next year that it was going to be the year that I want to really focus on football. So I think it was a really good time where I could learn a lot from the girls that were getting drafted that year, like Bridie, Keely, and Soph, and then take it into next year of my top age year. So still learn a lot from that year, only playing, I think, a couple of games. So yeah.
And what did you sort of make of that first season? Because you played 2 games, averaged 11.5 disposals and just over 1 marks per game. What did you sort of make of the first season with the Dragons?
I think I learned a lot being someone that's younger, like a part of an older kind of group. Um, I think Cripple was our coach then, so yeah, he really helped the younger girls kind of be able to blend in with the older girls. And I mean, you learn a lot when you're probably not the oldest one there. I think it's very different between your bottom age year and your top age year. But still being able to enjoy football at Sandy is a whole different environment. I've obviously never really been in a professional football, like Sandy and Drags kind of environment until that year. So yeah, it was really exciting to be able to be part of that squad, and then yeah, hopefully go next year, which I was able to.
And then in 2023, you played 10 games, averaging 18 disposals and 3.4 marks per game. What did you make of that season?
Yeah, I was really happy with my top age season. I think I missed the first 4 games, first 3 games due to rowing. Just wanted to finish off my rowing season, but I knew I wanted to, pursue with my football. And I think I made lots of really good quality friends in that year and learned a lot from Martha and the coaching crew there. And really found my position on the wing there, and everyone was really supportive of that. So yeah, I was just really enjoying my football there, and was lucky enough to, go through Metro and stuff like that. So I think Sandy really helped me with that. So yeah.
And you were the runner-up in the 2023 Sandringham Dragons Best and Fairest behind Izzy Bacon, who won the award. What does it mean to be runners-up in the club Best and Fairest last year?
I think just probably just shows dedication to effort. You spend a lot of time at training, spend a lot of time outside of training at the gym. And you're kind of always thinking about it. I mean, it's a draft year, you're going to get drafted, how much effort are you actually putting in? But it's kind of a bit of a reward. I mean, is had an amazing year as well. I mean, we've come out really good friends from Sandy, and I think that probably shows how many connections and stuff you can get through Sandy. And I was really pleased with the award, but I mean, it goes to a team effort. I mean, we played a really good back half of the season at Sandy, so yeah, really proud of the girls in that year.
And you could play a number of different positions at the Dragons. Did you have a favourite position? And if so, why?
Oh, I think at Sandy, I mean, I basically only played wing at Sandy, in my top age year. Um, and that was from Daniel, their mids coach, and I think I played in the inter-club match, and he really liked me on there. So, I mean, I basically only played wing until the last couple of games, went a little bit half back, and then half a game went forward or something like that. But I think a favorite position would be wing because I was able to, like, I had the opportunity to play it there, but I think I really developed in halfback there as well. So I wasn't too fussed where I played as long as I was enjoying my football. So yeah.
And did you have a best friend from your time at the Dragons?
Oh, it definitely easy for sure. I think we're really bonded, especially helping each other through that draft period. It's always good to be able to talk to someone about clubs and stuff like that. So yeah.
And then on Monday night in the AFLW draft, a couple of the teammates from your time at the Dragons, Sophie McKay and Daisy Flocker, were selected in the draft. What was it like to see those two girls get drafted and to also reach their dreams?
Yeah, I mean it's such an exciting period for those 2 girls, but also all the girls that got drafted. Um, I mean, Soph and Days have both been amazing. I mean, you can probably see Soph's come to huge miles and has been a really good footballer for a long time. And especially when I was there in my top age year, she was an amazing player. And dedication to her work and how much she wants the ball and how good she is with the ball. So yeah, and then Days, I'm really close with Days. Well, Days went to my school as well, so kind of played football there at school and then played at Sandy together. So yeah, she's a really good player and I'm really proud of her for also getting drafted there.
And you were a part of the AFLW Under-18 National Championships in 2023, playing 3 games, averaging over 17 disposals, 3 tackles and 3 marks. What did you make of your performances in the National Championships?
Yeah, I think the Vic Metro was a very good time for me to make friends and from other clubs and really develop my game and be able to showcase my skills that I've learnt throughout my footy career. And I felt I had some good games with Vic Metro, and that probably really helped me to get drafted. But I feel like the people that I met there just really good quality people, and it's such a good way to meet new people from that get drafted to different clubs and, keep those connections up. So yeah.
And what's it like as well, I guess, to be playing alongside some of those players in Vic Metro and to then this year play them on the AFLW field? What was that like?
Oh, I think it's pretty cool to be able to see. I mean, heaps of people you once playing with them and then playing against them, so it's very different. But it's just really good to see that so many girls got drafted from Vic Metro and the girls that you play with and you want to make better in training and stuff like that. So, it's a bit of a weird feeling, but I mean, that's the next level. So I think that's where everyone wants to get to. So yeah, it was really exciting.
And what clubs interviewed you in the lead up to last year's draft?
Um, I had most Victorian clubs except a few, and then Brizzy as well, interstate.
And I guess last year, because your draft year was very different, it was the last time that there was both the state drafts pool and then the national drafts pool. Which drafts pool did you nominate and why?
I chose to nominate state. I was very conflicted between state and national. I think I was able to take the advantage of being still able to nominate state and stay home with family as I'm very close with family and they've helped me a lot. But also with like my outside of football commitments like uni, and I've got a really good group of school friends here. So yeah, I was really happy with my to be picked up by the Bombers in the state draft. So yeah.
Did you have any inkling that the Bombers were going to select you on draft night?
Oh, no inkling. I don't think anyone really knows. Maybe the top five or so might know, but I don't think anyone really knows where they're going to go. So I was very, very excited to go to the Bombers and for my name to be picked out. Yeah, definitely a dream come true. So yeah.
And you were selected by Essendon with pick 20 in last year's draft. What was sort of running through your head when you were selected by the Bombers?
Oh, I think not much actually. Just so excited. I think when your name gets picked out, you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm finally at an AFLW club. And then we went in the next day, and I was yeah lost for words. It's an amazing club and amazing facilities and support group there, and just such a good group of girls. So yeah, I was so excited.
And what do you remember from draft night? What sort of emotions were running through your head before being selected, and how did it sort of look for you?
Um, I wasn't too sure where, obviously you're not sure where you're going to go, so I was a bit nervous, but I tried to keep myself busy. Obviously on draft day we had them on the Monday last year. I just saw some friends, as I said, kept myself busy, and then yeah, like didn't put too much pressure on myself. I knew that like if I was going to go, yeah, I'd be really excited, but I also had other opportunities. Maybe if I didn't go on the draft or yeah, so I think I was just keeping my options open and just being really happy with the fact that if I do go, like, yeah. So, yeah.
And you played 3 games for Essendon in the VFLW this year. What did you make of the opportunity to play in the VFLW, and what was sort of the main differences from Coates Talent League level to then VFLW?
First with the main differences, I think bigger bodies, a lot bigger bodies. I mean, I was still pretty slim back then. And I think people hitting you from the start, hitting you pretty hard, but I think you kind of get used to it when you play at AFLW level. But I was just really keen to get a game at AFLW, to be honest. Just to step up and then step up another level. Um, I think VFLW is a great stepping point for us youngins to play before the AFLW season. So yeah, I was really keen to play some games, and yeah, I was lucky enough to play 3. So yeah.
How hard was the transition as well from Coates Talent League to VFLW to then AFLW level?
Yeah, it's probably something that's not talked about too much. You probably don't realize Coates Town League, I mean, it's obviously very different to the AFLW level, then very different to AFLW level, and AFLW is probably the biggest step up. But I feel like you train so much before because you get drafted so early, you train so much for the VFLW or for the AFLW. So it's not like you're used to it, but you're used to that faster ball movement pace at trainings. And I mean, it's a huge step up, obviously. But yeah, just I mean, the training you don't get used to it, but by the time you've played a couple of games, I mean, it's always, yeah, really good.
And then, so you got drafted in December 2023, and then pre-season this year started in June. How did you sort of spend the time between December and June getting ready for pre-season?
Yeah, so I had a bit of a break. Obviously being year 12 was a really busy year for me. And then just focusing on football was really big. So I had a bit of a break over the summer and then got stuck into it. And I think it's a really great period for us to go in a couple of times a week to the club and meet the new girls that maybe you didn't see in the day after draft or just meet all the staff. I think there's a lot of people to meet at a new football club. So I was really grateful that we had, in around 6 months to really get stuck into it and learn the ways of Essendon. So it's such a great period that I think the draftees this year will really cherish and be able to even build their game before even pre-season starts.
And in pre-season this year, the Bombers underwent a Navy-style training camp. What was that like as well? Because some of the vision, there was some pretty intense team activities that you undertook.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm someone that's quite scared of heights, so jumping off a couple of high platforms into the water probably wasn't my favorite thing, but I got used to it and really I think everyone really took on the challenge and it was a really great bonding activity to even learn everyone and what they might feel under stress or how to communicate in harder situations. So I think that was really good for us in developing to such a good side this year. Yeah, and I think we made a lot of connections and learned a lot of different things about each other during that. I think it's about a week away. So yeah.
And there was a video on Essendon's social media where you told your parents you were making your AFLW debut. What was it like to sort of tell your parents, and what did you make of their reactions as well?
Well, I told mum and dad that I mean, the team was coming out a couple of days later, so I don't think they really knew I was going to be told at training if I was going to play or not. So I just said to them, like, I didn't want any expectations on myself. I was obviously very nervous about it because, I mean, there's 30 girls on the list, so you always have a chance, but, I was just really excited to be able to call them, and I think they were over the moon as well. Um, so yeah, that was a really exciting time and just grateful that I was able to play at least one game. So yeah.
And you made your AFLW debut in round one against the Dockers. You had 7 disposals, 5 hitouts, 2 tackles, and a clearance. What did you make of your first game at AFLW level?
Probably just stepping up to the different AFLW level, the speed of the game and the quality of the plays it wasn't a shock, but it was obviously very different to what you're used to. I mean, at Coates League and BFW level, but I thought I was able to, yeah, make big improvements from where I was at earlier, and then yeah, to be able to play just against Freo. I mean, they were a very good quality side that day, and yeah, learn a lot definitely.
And then in week two against the West Coast Eagles, you kicked your first AFLW goal. What was that moment like for you?
Oh, I mean, unreal. I think my brother was on my back a little bit for playing the four-line or kicking in goal. So yeah, no, it was an amazing moment. And I feel like it's kind of what you work towards, those big moments, but also it's all like the people around you from Essendon being able to support you through that moment. And then, yeah, being able to travel interstate as well. That was pretty cool. So, yeah.
And then unfortunately, after that game, you felt calf tightness. After the game, with scans, them revealing a calf injury, you were sidelined for a month. How hard was that to sort of all deal with as well?
Yeah, it was a very, very challenging period for me as I've probably never really had any other injuries except for my shoulders. Um, and to be sidelined for a whole month and kind of not knowing when you're going to come back or not knowing if it's going to settle down or yeah, what the calf kind of protocols are at the club. I mean, the physio and medical team at Essendon are absolutely amazing. They work with you like tirelessly for the whole time and goes to their credit of helping me to get back as fit as possible and as ready as possible. But it definitely did throw me around a little bit. Probably didn't think I was going to get injured that early in that year, but yeah, I mean that's football, and yeah,
How did you sort of find it as well, watching the team from the sidelines? Because obviously you'd love to be out there. How hard was that as well?
Yeah, I reckon that was probably one of the hardest parts of it because you know you can't play, but you want to be out there, and I think it's so hard for. I mean, still what 9 girls, 8 girls miss out every game, and that's a lot of people for an AFLW side. So I feel like just being able to be around the girls that aren't playing and just watch the girls and be able to support the girls that are playing and do anything for them that they need on game day. I think Essendon's really good with that and being able to support others and still being involved in some game day stuff at the start. So it was a hard time, but definitely was helped with a lot of support from the club and from teammates.
And in your first AFLW season, you played in your first AFLW final. Ironically, both your first game and your first final were against Fremantle. So, how did you find your first AFLW final where you also kicked a goal?
Yeah, I mean, up in the side in Fremantle game. Um, yeah, it was I mean, final was a very high pressure game. Freo came out firing, but I feel like we matched their energy for a lot of the game. Um, and it's very different playing in Freo compared to other grounds. It was a very windy day. But yeah, Freo took it out on us, and I feel like that we had a lot to learn from that game, and we'll definitely bring that into next year.
It's 12 months ago since you were drafted to the Bombers. How did you find your first year at AFLW level and with the Bombers?
Oh, I absolutely love my first year. Probably couldn't have think of it, couldn't be any better to be honest. Like, I've met some great people, made some great friends, and a big support group at Essendon. So yeah, I've just been so grateful for the year that's come, and yeah, and keen for next year.
And a listener sent this question in. There was a funny moment at the Essendon AFLW Best and Fairest as you wore the same dress as a teammate. How did that happen? And when did you realise that you were wearing the same dress?
Yeah, well, Brock Walker was wearing the dress. We both had the same dress on. I mean, I say that it was planned. I don't know. People will never know that was planned or not. But our photo was sent to the our group chat of her wearing it, and then that was before we got there. It was just a funny moment, but I mean, we both looked nice, so that's all that really matters. But yeah, no, it was a fun night.
And you wear your hair braided during a game. How did that sort of come about?
Oh, I get really annoyed when my hair's like in my face and kind of covering my eyes or just in the way. So, got a few good braiders at Essendon, so I was lucky enough to get them to do my hair. But yeah, just getting it out of the way, to be honest.
Do you have a motto that you live by out on the footy field? And if so, what is it?
Probably just taking every day as it comes. I mean, I hate stressing on like the big things that are coming maybe later in the year or later in the week and not stressing about but just being able to control what you can control in that present moment and being able to put your best foot forward on that day.
And there's a long off season in the AFLW. What are your plans for the off season?
Definitely keeping myself busy with seeing friends and going away. I think it's really good time for people for us. I mean, it's a great summer, so being able to go with family, go away with friends. So it's a really good period to take off, but then also being able to really develop my game for next year's season. Um, and yeah, just keep continuing to build the connection with the club.
And you mentioned earlier as well that you're studying at university. What course are you studying? How are you finding it?
Yes, I'm studying at Deakin, doing business majoring in sports management. Yeah, and I'm really happy with my decision to go to Deakin and study that. There were a couple more courses that I might wanted to study, but I think I've chosen the right one. I'm really yeah, so I do part full time in the off season slash pre-season and part time in season, and I find it's a really good mental break for me to kind of switch off from football and focus on something else. So yeah, it's I really like doing uni when I'm also doing something else. So yeah, definitely.
And how hard is it to sort of switch off from footy and ensure that you sort of have downtime outside from playing footy, focusing on footy, watching footy, etc.?
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing this year that because footy kind of, I mean, you have full day trainings and it's very different from being from going to school and then going to training afterwards. So I think just making sure that you have kind of a release out there, and if that's doing uni work, if that's spending time with family, spending time with different friends, that's probably the biggest thing for me is just not totally involving my whole life with football and making that the deal or no deal. Because I mean, if you get dropped, if you get injured, it can be a really hard time. So yeah, definitely. So just making sure you keep yourself busy outside of football as well.
And a couple of quick fire questions. You have a twin brother. Who do you think's the better footballer and why?
He'd say him, but I'd definitely say me. He dropped football. I think when he was at school. So yeah, yeah, definitely think me.
Who's your favourite team to beat and why?
I didn't get to play them this week, this year, but probably Richmond. I mean, we drew anyway, but I think they're just a really good quality team, and it's a good tough matchup between them. So yeah.
Who's your favourite teammate at the club?
Oh, I love everyone, to be honest. I mean, I got drafted with Chloe and Amy, so probably them. It's good to keep the young bond together, but yeah, I love everyone there.
Who's the most annoying teammate? Is there someone in particular?
Oh, I don't know if you'd say annoying. I don't think there's someone in particular that's annoying. I think there's a couple of girls that um can be very keeps you on your toes. But yeah, no, everyone's quite good there.
Is there a teammate that's very messy? If so, who would they be?
Oh, she wouldn't like me outing her, but Mia Bush, she loves her coffee and loves to keep her coffee cups everywhere around the locker room and everywhere around the whole place. So, yeah, sorry, Bushy, but yeah, it has to be her.
And who do you think's the nicest teammate?
Oh, the nicest teammate. Oh, I think everyone's. I can't say one person. I don't think. I think everyone's. There's not. There's definitely not someone that's mean, but I think yeah, everyone's lovely and coming into such a good environment there.
Well, thank you so much, Emily, for joining me on the podcast today. All the best of luck in the off season and the best of luck for the 2025 AFLW season. Thanks again for your time.
Thanks for having me.